Hello, I think we can just do another 2 minutes. So where we get people in. So go to your communities, go to your group, go to the Mom 360 community and get them in. Get everybody in. Where are your sisters? Get them in. Let them know that we are live and we're started. Let them know that we're live and we are started. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you. Hello, So good to see you. Hi, Favor. I see your avatar. I'm seeing your avatar. Is that your real face, though? Welcome, everybody. I'm super excited for today. I can't even believe what's going to happen. I'm super excited because this topic is hot. It's a very hot one. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I do my best. I'm taking after you. Thank you. And I see some people changing their pictures. Okay, that's good. All right. We have 1 more minute, so go and get them in. I want to see this place buzzing already. Go and get them in. I want to see the place buzzing while we await our speaker. We're going to introduce our speaker much later. Let's just get through with housekeeping and a few more things before we go ahead. So I'm very expectant, I'm very excited for today, and I cannot wait for all the insights and the mind-blowing things that we would start to experience. But how was it for you last week? If you were here last week, I want you to put it in the chat. Just let me know how it was for you last masterclass. I know it was really mind-blowing for me, learning how. Thank you, Sister Favor. Learning the importance of, super fueling and nourishing our kids with the colors of the rainbow, basically, ensuring that they have their right nutrients, they have fresh food, and not just always giving them fresh food, but also ensuring that they have the food that would power their brain performance. Like our speaker said last week, the nutrition of our food is directly proportional to their brain performance. So if you don't give them solid nutrition, their brain is not going to perform optimally, right? And then she went ahead to talk about the different classes of food, how we can find them in natural food products, what we can even start to do. And the fact that I loved the most was when she highlighted that you don't even need to break the bank. I love that part a lot. She said you don't even need to break the bank. You don't even need to break the bank at all. Like you're already doing well. You are doing solid. Everything that you need is already in your kitchen. Everything that you want is already in your kitchen. You don't have to go back and forth. There's no need to you know, start getting worried about, oh, I don't have this, or am I going to find this, or am I going to find omega? I learned a lot, you can clearly tell. So let me know what you learned in the chat while we get started. Okay? Let me know what you learned in the chat while we're getting it started. All right, welcome to our back to school masterclass series. Welcome to our back to school masterclass series, which is part of our 31-day bold prayers for back to school in the month of August. And in today's masterclass, we are going to be talking about practical planning tools to support your child's learning in the new school year. We're going to be discussing the strategies. We're going to be discussing how to break down all our plans and our lofty ideas into different initiatives. We're going to be discussing how to ensure that our kids are well supported, how to ensure that they are learning well, they are resting well, they are doing all that they need to do, and they're also thriving. Thank you so much, Sister Dima. Thank you very much for that. That they're also thriving. So it's not about wanting to project our own ideas to our kids. It's also ensuring that the kids are doing well and everything they are doing is according to their divine destiny. Those are very important. So if your kids are not doing well, don't worry. If you feel like, oh, there's so many things I want to do for them, don't worry. If you feel like, oh, I don't know how to break it down, they have a lot of school activities. They have swimming, they have robotics, they have drama, they have science, they have language. Don't worry. We're going to be discussing everything here because we have, an experienced educator of almost 2 decades with us. But before we get into that, let's just take you through some housekeeping and then introduce some of our first timers here into Families Arising and into what our community is all about. And people that have been with us, some of our sisters that have been with us, while I am speaking, I also want you to continue to just, encourage them and let them know that these things are real and share your own testimonies with them as well. So Families Arising has been founded since way before 2014, but we officially put our pen to paper in November 2014 to be precise, because we had a burden to equip moms to discover, embrace, and fulfill their purpose. Since then, we've reached actually over 200,000 families. I thought somebody was going to put this in the chat and start to clap. I thought that somebody was going to start beating drum rolls in the chat. We've reached over 200,000, like 200,000. That is bigger than some stadiums all over the world. Over 200,000 families have been reached with our resources in over 181 countries. We have 194 countries, if I'm not wrong. If my basic government and science and history classes don't fail me, I think we have 194 countries in the world, and we've reached 181. That's no small feat. We initially started with moms, but now we've expanded our reach to kids, to youth, to young adults, to toddlers, to tweens, to teenagers, and to dads as well. So you can find all about our community. Just go to www.familiesarising.org and click on any of the menus, and you just find these links that take you directly to the resources for whatsoever group that you are in the family. We have articles, we have books and devotionals. You can find some of our devotionals on YouVersion as well. So just go to YouVersion and type Families Arising. We have podcasts. Someone's audio is on. We have podcasts, we have courses, we have coaching, we have programs, we have events, and most importantly, we have you. There is no family member without you. So we have you, our family members. So if you're not in our community or in our app where all our family members are, then I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. So you need to be there where all the family members are. All right. So in this month of August, we started our Back to School series, which is a combination of 31 bold prayers for back to school, where you're able to cover our children in faith, in wisdom, in power for the new academic year. We know that every school year is no small feat. Preparing for our kids to go back to school. Some of them are going to new classes. They're going to be meeting new friends. Sometimes we've changed communities, we've changed cities, sometimes they're going to a totally new environment. We need to be very proactive as opposed to just being reactive. We need to be very proactive in covering them in prayer. And beyond just covering them in prayer, which is why we brought these master classes to also equip our parents, especially our moms, with the tools and strategies that allow the kids thrive in the new classes. So we're not all about prayer, prayer, prayer. Prayer is the key. Prayer is the foundation and it's the bedrock. But without proper planning, they will not be able to really enter into God's purposes or even really sit within what God has for them. If you want your kids to really get all that is within their reach, you want them to be able to and step into their divine destiny. You want them to work excellently. You want them to be super performers. You want them to be purposeful. You want them to be high flyers beyond prayer. These masterclasses are also important. So ensure that you join us in our back to school prayers that happen every 1:30 p.m. Watt and 6:30 a.m. Mountain Time. You can check it out on our website as well, www.familiesarising.org/back to school. When you sign up, you get daily bold prayers and declarations. You can find some of them on our Instagram or on our Facebook, on our Threads page as well. But you get direct access to that. There are scripture memory cards for your kids that they can start to recite every morning, even before they go to school. Before they even start to go to school, they can start to recite it, let it become a part of them. You get access to the 31-day printable cards. You get a free copy of the 31-day prayer back to school ebook as well. Like even beyond this moment, they also get access to start to pray. Like it's not a book for just August, it's a book that you have all year round. And then you get access to this weekly expert-led masterclasses. That's the replays, because some people may not get the replays because you're not a part of our community on nutrition, anxiety, planning, and wellness. And then the Mom 360 Premium Cafe, which most of us here are on, and we can testify to the amazing, amazing resources that we get on there. So ensure that you join. It's 6:30 a.m. Mountain and 1:30 p.m. Watt and 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay. So this is a call to moms. This is a call to moms because you are spiritual gatekeepers. You are gates. You know, when we call women, we say you're a wombed man. You have a way of housing, nurturing. And when you now bring to birth, we see that this thing grows from infanthood to young adulthood to adulthood. Even after our own children begin to have their own children, our work never ends. And so this is where we're starting from, that from this time, from when they start to go to school. Let us plan and prepare for them. Let us be intentional about our children. Let us stand the guard and mount our gates so that no wile of the devil can just come and be harassing our children. As little as, oh, your children are hurt from, somebody spoke to them in school that could mark or scar their souls. And you never know that they carry these hurts for life. So it's very important, right? I know that some of us have started to give testimonies. I want people to start sharing as well in the chat. And I believe that as you join and you take part of our prayers daily, I join every day. I join mostly on Facebook. I join mostly on Facebook. Even when it is during my work hours, I join on Facebook because sometimes I'm not able to join another Zoom at the same time. But I join because it is very important. The prayers are very important. They sometimes when I'm done, I see my kids and I put my hands on them and I say it to them because I've prayed. Let's be intentional about our children. Okay. Just before I call our guest speaker, the masterclass doesn't end today. There's another one coming next week, Friday, and the last Friday in August. This next one is Preventing Burnout as a Mom. We have Dr. Macy Ecox coming. And I know this burnout is a very important topic. So important because I have experienced burnout. Like I'm even just coming out of one. So we have Dr. AC coming to speak to us and then helping kids and parents cope with fear and anxiety because it's a new environment. It's only normal that you feel some level of fear. But how do we really, really cope with fear and anxiety so that it doesn't get the best of us, but we can maximize our newness? We have the Fumi Ayowale also coming. So ensure that you keep it locked down in your calendars, block those dates because we have a lot of juicy things coming as well. So the moment has come. The moment has come. The moment has come, has come, has come, has come, has come. Is anybody put this? I'm looking for drum rolls. Where are the drum rolls now? I can't see the drum rolls. Yes, Sister Tokwe, Families Are Rising is so all encompassing, and we thank God for that. So where are the drum rolls? Let me see the drum rolls. Our guest speaker is coming. We're going to introduce our guest speaker. Are you ready? Are you ready? The reason that she's not showing her face is because people are not, they're not gingery now. Are you ready for our guest speaker? Are you ready? I'm not seeing enough ginger. Where are the drum rolls? Where are the drum rolls? Only one person has given a drum roll. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Are you ready? Are you ready, ready, ready? Hope you have your notes. Hope you have your pen and you're ready to take copious notes. Thank you. I'm waiting for plenty drum rolls. Yes. and you're ready to speak with an expert early childhood educator and child advocate of over 18 years of experience shaping young minds and mentoring children. She's going to be sharing with us practical planning tools to make learning smoother for our kids. She's going to be sharing with us how to work with teachers to support our children's growth. And then she's also going to be sharing with us effective ways to nurture a love for learning at home. So, ladies, welcome to the grand stage. Mrs. Olubusola Akinpelu. Thank you so much for being here with us, ma'am. We're super excited to have you.
Thank you very much, Danny. You're welcome.
All right. So you have the floor, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to be here today. My name, like Dami said, thank you for that very warm introduction, Dami. As Dami said, my name is Busola Akinpelu. I'm an early childhood teacher and also an elementary teacher up to grade 2, and I am a mom of 3. So today, I'll be sharing tips about how to get our children ready for the school year. And like Dami said, this can actually require a lot of things. I know that many of us want our children to succeed, right? And not just at the beginning of the year as we start, but actually throughout the year. But sometimes we kind of feel very unsure as to how to go about and as to how to go about it. Some people say, oh, I'm not a teacher. The whole year, what am I supposed to do? How do I even start to make sure my children are on track? And that's the reason why we're here today. I like that Family Horizon is doing this. It's the perfect time, August, where everybody's trying to get ready, prepping for school. And this kind of platform is very appreciated because then we, as moms, we don't have like a major resource center. We don't know where to go for solutions to our or answers to our questions. We have this platform to come, listen to speakers, share our minds, bear our minds out, just rub minds with other people to get answers to how to always support our children. And Dami, I have a screen. I will be sharing my screen.
You can go ahead, ma'am.
To start off. So am I host, Dami? Yeah,
yes, you're
I
the
am.
host. You have access to share.
Right. Good. So, and can everyone see my screen? I'm trying to see. Can you see what I shared? I mean, everyone see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen. We have agenda on here.
Okay, these things can be very tricky. I can only see my face.
My face is on. I'm guessing it's because it's on presenter view, so let's see. But we all
I
can
want to
see.
try to see the PowerPoint as well so I can talk from there.
Oh, you
And
can see your
reshare.
screen.
Should I try that?
Yes. So your screen is currently sharing. We can see your PowerPoint presentation and we can see your agenda as well.
Okay. Ah,
So maybe you want to go to the tab where your PowerPoint is. Go to the PowerPoint tab itself because we
you
can
know
see.
what? Let me restart. Let me restart. Let me reshare and see
Okay.
if all right. Right. This is what I'm looking for. Great. Okay. Now today I'm going to be talking about I broke down the point into 3 practical steps. First one is practical planning to make learning smooth for you, for your child. And number 2, today I'll be talking about how to work with teachers to support your child's growth. And also number 3 on the list will be simple and effective ways to nurture a love for learning at home. And yeah, So starting with number one, practical planning tools to make learning smooth for our children. Um, First thing I would always recommend for all moms, for everybody who is trying to get their children ready for school, is to create a very enabling and supportive environment at home. And I choose the word enabling and I choose the word supportive for a reason. Your home environment should enable the children start to prepare for school. And it should also kind of give them some support as well. What do I mean by that? So, for example, children are starting school for most of us here, maybe in 2 weeks. Some states in America, children are already back in school. And for some children, it's that like midway September, I guess. So and it will only, and they've been on holiday for 2 months, right? And it just only makes sense for us to try and get them ready, like, through reminders, like, okay, it's 2 weeks to school. For example, as a mom, I will be doing that like from Monday. And I know that, okay, they have 2 weeks to go back to school. I'll start to prep, like talking to them about it. And one thing I always, 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 always tell moms is that children need emotion, they need that guidance to be able to know what's coming. So, for example, a lot of people just say, oh, school is starting, we need to prep. School is on Monday, you guys need to, you tell the children what you think that they want to hear. But sometimes my friends tell me, oh, they haven't even, but they should know that I've told them that school is starting next week, but they should know that they should need to start to prep. Sometimes children hear you, but they don't understand the steps to take to prep. To, okay, I know school is starting. That's an information you're giving to me. What do I do with that information? How do I get there to know that I should prep for school? As a parent, how do I support my children to actually get ready for school? My first point is routines. Routines are very important. Routines kind of helps your child adjust their body rhythm, their sleep patterns. So, for example, right now, my children go to bed late. I don't really fuss. Everybody's picking their battles. Like it's summer, they can have fun. They wake up late, they sleep. I let them sleep until about 10, and they wake up and they go to bed late. So it's fine. It's summer. But that can work. Their body already has that rhythm of waking up late. To help them adjust to what's coming, I always have to say, okay, it's 2 weeks 2 weeks into school resumption, we start to wake up, like, say, for example, 8, and make it an habit, like, okay, it's got to be early, wake up early, and, carry on your chores, your daily routine, make sure, and they go to bed also earlier than normal. Instead of 10, we'll start to drop our bedtimes to maybe like 9. In week 2, we go to maybe like our usual time will be 7:38, on the normal days of school. So we start to adjust those routines. I always tell people that the best way to work with your child is to let them know what's coming. Like, for example, even as adults, right? Nobody likes anybody just knocking on your door and say, hi, I'm in the neighborhood. I'm just trying to say hello or something. I like I like to know what's coming. Like, say, okay, somebody's coming to see me. Do I have drinks at home? Do I have food? At least give me a chance to plan my jokes, right? So at least I know that I've got this locked down. If somebody's coming to see me, I'm well prepared for this visit. So it gives me some sort of like, okay, ownership. This person coming to see me, everything is good. We're going to have fun, right? It's the same way children also need a heads up. And it's very important. And it's not just only in telling them school is coming, but the right steps to take before school comes. It helps them being able to manage themselves, be able to carry out, make decisions. So also, and because we understand the power of children working well with routines, on the school front, at schools, we would have things like a visual schedule, because we all know everybody thrives from knowing what comes next, like I said. For example, like even as adults, most of us, when we start a new job and then we get to the new job, and we're being introduced to team members, the usual first day, introductions here and there. You're a bit nervous, like we're a bit like, what's going to happen? Okay, meet that. I'm meeting so many faces. you are like open to know what the job is about, who you'll be working with, who will be reporting to you, your line manager. We all still get the nerves and we all still get the chills, right? I mean, on the first day of your job. But of course, you know that it's your first day. You know that when I get to work, I'll be meeting people. You know that, okay, it's okay, it's right to say hello and hi because we're adults. Children sometimes feel so much emotional pressure and they internalize these pressures like, okay, how do I navigate this whole idea of of first days of school? And as parents, I've seen that when we put our children into a particular routine, mental routine, emotional routine, it helps them transition to school mode safely. I also say that it's not only about the physical preparation. And what that allows, what that does for children is it gives them the power to make decisions. It gives them ownership. It builds their confidence. I'll be using a lot of examples from my what I do with my children because I like this topic because I can speak from the angle of a mom of three. I can also speak from the angle of a teacher. So I prep for class. I prep my children at home. When the children come in, we and part of our preparation is always having a visual schedule, and it will look like something like this. Because when they come in, we try what we focus on the first week of school is actually emotional balance, emotional and social regulation, more than just academics. Because the first week is not about academics. It's basically getting them into a new space, getting them to know the teacher, their classmates, just settling in and being happy. So it's more or less like like that in balancing emotions and social interaction. And I might be making more examples from children within the early years. That's my area of expertise. But of course, I'll also be referring to older children. So, for example, when you come to any class, any early years class. When I say early years, I mean children between, let's say, age 2 to 7. You would always find a schedule. When you go into older classrooms, you will see timetables. These are not just designs. We all went to school, we had timetables because that allowed us to know what period you have, who's coming to teach you. It gives you some sort of predictability and it helps you prepare mentally for what's coming. If you haven't done your homework for the next class, you're like, oh, I haven't done my homework for the next class. I need to da, 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 da. When you know what's coming, then you are aligned to be able to carry on through the day. For the younger children, you would have a visual schedule. And a visual schedule is something that children can see and know that, okay, I start my day at this point. I'm going to finish at this point. That's okay. So at this point, I get to go home. And immediately it says, and this picture would have things like good morning, circle time. It would be maybe math. It just kind of helps. And why I like all this visual and how this helps children prepare for school is they know over time they are in charge of how they think. You start hearing them say things like, oh, now we have this. I like the fact that you see the children talking about it. Oh, we are doing this now. After this, they will do that. After that, they will do this. What this does is help them to settle into school as they start school. And at home, what that means is at home, for you to start school, things like this other chart here that you can write what they do at night. Did you brush your teeth? Did you wear your pajamas? Just some sort of guidance to help that routines at home sit and set before they actually resume school. And it looks different in different homes, right? So what I'm trying to say is it's very important for parents to a week before start to transition them into that school mode, not just physically prepping for school, buying uniforms, making sure they're buying new school bags, and just like buying socks. I mean, you know what I mean when it comes to the shopping, the school supplies, and all of that. We all do that, but getting ready for school, setting up our children for success at school is way beyond just what they wear and physically what they'll be wearing. It's more the more important things that we as parents we need to put in place, and most parents overlook because they don't know how to do they don't know that they should be doing these things. So routines help children to transition into school mode. like I said, even adults struggle on the first day of job. They also struggle when people just like, for example, I personally, when people spring up on me, keeps me off balance. So I like the fact that I need to know what's coming. So parents putting that into place, like always making sure you let them go to bed early, you put them everything you normally would do during school routine. Please put them back. Start them now if you're about starting school. And one of the things we also do is because it's a big step, I always leverage on books, right? And I have younger kids, so I would like we're always at the library anyway. Parents should learn to use resources around them. You don't have to be a teacher. You don't have to create a classroom in your home. You don't have to break the bank to do so many things. Use the resources you have in your library that are free. You know, read books. I read books to my children a lot, and I tend to look for topics that are very that lean towards, going back to school, making friends, kindness, how to navigate friendships with the older children, just that mental prep. And because we read a lot of books, and it's not like you put the pressure of school so much that they begin to fear the idea of school. I mean, like, just borrow the books, let the books be. You can every night you can pick one, read it together with your child, talk about the stories. You know what you're doing. You know your end goal is to kind of prepare them mentally. You don't have to say, we have to read this book because school is starting. Pressure. Pressure. Children they also carry mental and emotional like load. And as parents, our job is not to add more to it because the school is starting. And we always get overwhelmed with the idea of, oh, my children settle, would they be fine? Would they make friends? We don't have power over what is going to happen in school, but we have power over how our children receive, how our children walk into school confidently, knowing that, okay, they can navigate social dynamics. And one of the best ways to do this, to help your child through the beginning of the school year, is to have talked about, have those conversations. I love conversations so much. People ask me how I always say, I don't really have time to sit down to teach or to do all of these things. But all of my children, because as we do things together, we talk about things a lot. We use conversations a lot, and those conversations create opportunities for bonding. And as we bond, we kind of share so many information, and the way and how I ask questions, and how we discuss these questions, it helps them build confidence. So libraries are always a good way to get resources from. And they have, for younger children, they always, and they're also a lot of, you can search YouTube. There are also videos that are very safe for your children to watch about, these animated videos about children going back to school. That's also very helpful. Like I said, you can use books, you can use conversations to help support your children to transition into school mode. And I always say to people, that a lot of parents, that the day before school is not the day to start talking about school, in terms of, when you start to say things like, oh, tomorrow is school, make sure or maybe fine, on the day of school, you can do some reminders, right? You can say, oh, on that very day after eating your breakfast, it's your big day, have fun, share your kisses and hugs and in the car. But like, the day as you prepare for school, maybe like taking the uniforms out, ironing them, getting ready, you can just have conversations, easy conversations like, oh, I wonder what first day of school will look like. Hear what your child has to say. Hear where their thinking is at. Of course, you will hear them say, I'm a bit nervous. And you go like, why are you nervous? It's a normal feeling to have, by the way. Sometimes I get nervous too. When your children know that you get nervous as well, like, you also have that feeling. They're like, oh, wow, somebody relates with them. They want to know what makes you nervous and how you handled it. And trust me, those are the best learning moments, when you begin to say, well, I remember when I did this and did that and that. I just, I just try to kind of thing the children pick up from it. I have those conversations like, oh, do you think you'll make friends? And do you think you'll make friends on the first day of school? What do you think? If you don't make any, if you're trying to talk to someone and they don't respond, what do you do? I often do that with my older child, and of course, just to know how they can handle maybe social disappointments, because imagine your children walking into a classroom space and they're all like clueless, like I don't know who to talk to, I don't know I don't know who to say hello to. I always tell my older one, what you can actually do is also invite people. You can say, oh, do you want to see my Pokemon cards, or do you want to play tag with me? And empowering our children with those kind of tools and of strategies and how to make friends is very important. So it will help them really, really begin to make. I find those entry points very, very, very valuable. Even more valuable than just saying hi. Because when you say hi, what's the next thing that happens? Total silence. The other person says hi back, and that's it. But when you actually equip them with tools that can help them navigate friendships when they get into school, it does really, 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 really help them. Like start to be able to pick up conversations. I know that the first week of school, teachers to also do like a lot of games, a lot of interesting things to make the children like interact. For older children, it's always very different. They like to be like, they're cool and calm and collected and not really. But for children that are younger, they're happy. They're, hey, this, when they play games to know each other's names and help them really, really settle in. I always say emotional security, to be honest. We talk about an educational opportunities. I'm kind of almost talking about emotional security and educational opportunities, because when you prepare your children emotionally, have those conversations, talk about feelings, it actually leads, you are actually educating them without, doing the normal math, academic preparation. It's not a child's success in school is not just academics. Yes, you are very the academic is, you are smart, or you attain high results in academics. How about other areas? How about your character? How about how you lead, how you communicate? Are you a team player? Do you collaborate effectively? All those things are really important, and they're not topics that you can sit down to teach directly. They are soft skills and soft topics that children pick up from modeling people around them, from having those from interactions. So as a parent, it's essential, as parents, it's essential for us to know that what children need to thrive in school throughout the year is being able to be um, being able to be receptive. I always tell my children that kindness is very important, that you always stay kind. When you struggle in school with friendships, you can be mad, but you can't be mean. You can't be mean to other children. You don't have to be friends with everybody, but kindness is always required. You have to be kind, because people come from different walks of life to the classroom every day. We don't know their backstory. Not every child in your classroom goes home to a family, you know. So, but how do we do these things as parents? I know we have jobs, we have so many things going on in our own personal lives, but you see those moments that you sit to have those conversations before school starts and during the school is always very key. Sometimes and questions are very powerful, because sometimes most parents don't know how to ask questions, but you just say, how was your day? But I think strategies, questions like, was there anything that made you happy today? What was your best part of today? As I pick them up from school, we have those conversations so it avoids them from saying yes or no. Did you, how was good? How was good today? Good. We want our children to say more than good, right? So these are tips and tools. Conversations are powerful. And the more you have those conversations, you build connections with your child. You would see that your children would improve from just monosyllables every time you ask them a question to full-blown conversation. And then because you ask those type of questions, the children begin to trust you, and because they see you're really leaning into them, you're so interested in about how their day went. I'm saying, for now, leave the academics. Yeah. In those conversations, what you're looking for will pop up. The first week of school, I normally would say, oh, that went really fast. How did you think? What did you make of this week? What was your highlight? What was the highlight for you this week? And she may go, maybe the games we played, maybe this one. There was this one child, she has always a story. She will follow up with a story. There was this one child who, and I'll go like, really? What do you think? And she will say things like, I think she should have done that differently. I'm like, you think? So what do you think that child should have done differently? You are not only um, asking questions, you are helping your children critically think, critically analyze situations. This is a very complex way of developing your child's, I don't know, point um, point of view, maturity, decision making. For me, these are very, very key. As a teacher, I can tell you that these are very golden points that in classroom, when they bring those traits to the classroom, they're able to express themselves and their ideas clearly. A child who has been prepped at home with conversation, we always know because they come in confident. They come in only to come and like they have the tools. You can tell from their conversation, you can tell that they've practiced with the parents. I know the better you get what I mean. They have an idea of what to expect. So for children between in the early years, one of the key goals that as teachers we have to kind of check or age 3 to 5 is, do children separate from their carers? So we mean like drop offs. You know how children will cry and then the parents will hug and will try to take them from the teacher. It's normal because it's a new environment. All their life they've been at home. So coming into that setting is like a whole new ball game. Like, who are these people? Can I trust them? Do I trust my teacher? Do I like this environment? It's very important that for that to be a very important skill, it goes to tell you that there's some sort of settling to do. And it's our job as teachers and parents to be able to ensure our children settle into school. And on the home front, what parents can do is talk, use simple tools. Like I said, for younger children, books work better and conversations. For older children, it's mostly conversations that work. Also, at the top here, I haven't talked about this. A family calendar. I have this on my fridge. I took a picture of that this morning. And since I bought this, I've never written on it. My daughter has taken the ownership to every month. As if there's a prize to win at the end of the day. I don't understand. She will ask, what's your schedule like? Mommy, she write everything. What appointments do you have? She would write everything. I think, no, I think I did I write the first time? I think as I tried to write it the first time, she just took over. Okay, so she would write things like her birthday is somewhere here, her sister's birthday is somewhere there. So it keeps her that, and I see how she takes it really seriously. Like she loves it because I gave her the opportunity to. Parents, sometimes we do everything for our children, so many things for them. Emotionally, we do so many things for them. They can actually do so many things for themselves in preparation or for school. So, and things like this, when we involve our children, we give them, I also think involving children, letting them take control of their own schedule is very important. That sense of responsibility, it transcends to so many things in class. When I see a child who's very organized and their attention span is very in there, I can tell that they have responsibilities at home. If I have to remind a child every single second, your pencil fell, clean your desk, put your bag away, I can tell that that kind of child does not really get in, they don't really maybe give chores to, or like they don't ask to do things, they don't have those conversations, they don't ask them to do things, they can't follow through few steps, maybe 2-step or 3-step instruction, or they just like the self-regulation, organization skills is not there. So what our children always need for school, especially older children, they need self-regulation, a lot of self-regulation. Once they come to school, teachers normally would tell them, this is your schedule. And once they know that, okay, now that they know all of these things I put here, their visual schedule, what comes next, and they know that, okay, now I'm supposed to do this. What if they're unable to carry out those tasks? It's often usually because they get easily distracted, they've gone off track, or they are just, when they do things, everything just falls apart. Pencil, bag, pencil case, everything keeps falling. It's just, and how parents can manage these situations at home is always, always, always give your children responsibilities and chores. Let them be in charge of so many things. Let them, from the very good, their daily habits that we should imbibe as parents. Let them lay their beds, let them clean their room. It will take a lot of reminders. And sometimes they need to see you do so many things for them to also learn to do it. As a parent, do you wake up to lay your beds in the morning? Do you take a shower first thing? Some children, things that you don't really even have to teach. They just kind of, children actually learn from what they see unconsciously, they just begin to do those things, right? My child sees that I take a lot of notes. I'm a teacher. I like to write the traditional way. Any small thing I'm writing, I see that all of a sudden she goes to Dollarama, she wants to pick up the book. She notes, she would draw, she would sketch, she would write, fix notes. And these can be like to-do list. Your children should have to-do lists. They should have, things that let them get through the day. And as parents, just always have this conversation. How did your day go in terms of your to-do list? Were you able to check anything off? Always checking. It is a big tool that helps them. Routine 2 weeks before. I will always even say before 2 weeks, there's something every day, daily habits. We always see it in school. As a teacher, I'm telling you for a fact, we always see it in school. It does really help them. So you don't have to do the academic side of things. If you think your child needs a bit of academic support. I know all the clubs that they do, extracurricular activities, you have to get them through there. Children who get those emotional and social support thrive. I would tell you for a fact. So as parents, I would tell you that if there's anything you take away from this session today, that constant connection, that constant social conversation is very, very, very important. It does help them because when they walk into those spaces, they already know what to do. They already know that they're getting a new teacher. They already know they're going to see new friends, maybe some friends from the previous year, but they're going to be new faces. How do I navigate this? They already have the resource. Do you want to play with me? The younger one, I could tell, do you want to play with me? You can ask. And if they say no, you can say, okay, that's fine. You can go ahead and play on your own. At least they are not like, you don't want to play with me. It's okay if they don't want to play with you. So it just helps them to manage their emotions. I don't know if you get what I hope. Like I'm quite. You're getting what I'm trying to explain. So no matter as you do these things, these are education. When you hear educational opportunities, it's not just textbook. It's not. That's what I realized because when my friends call me for advice, everybody's talking about what textbook can I buy, what app can I do, what that can I do. Yes, the opportunities exist from your home. It starts from your home. There are many, and when your children, when you send them out for me, I always say your children are influencers. They go through their conversations, through their acts. People see that these children, their parents do like the parents connect with them on a daily basis. And when that and connection leads to so many other things that I don't have to talk, I'm not meant to talk about today. Like, I mean, like when they begin to struggle, and when they see something that makes them uncomfortable, your child, because you create the opportunity to have conversations, by not, you don't shame them, you like to listen to them and hear them out. You will have that. They don't think you would scream or you would ignore. They know you're always open. They always come and tell you things. This is what I saw in school today. And I'm like, okay, so what do you think? Just like use the opportunity to turn it around. If you were that child, what would you do? It lets you know kind of decision your child takes, And if you think that your child, you can use the opportunity to say, oh, I will do that differently. You don't have to say, that's wrong. That's a wrong move. You don't have to say it's wrong. Say, I will do that differently. I will do this because I feel, what do you think? And you might go, okay, that's true. You have a point, mommy. Maybe next time I'll try that. That's a good idea. Thanks for sharing that. So also proper nutrition. The last week, we had a speaker come talk about proper nutrition. That is very, very true. As a teacher for so many years, I've seen firsthand how nutrition impacts children's performance in school. Food power is brain power, right? And I was so happy about how if you haven't seen that, by the way, you need to go and find that clip from last week. It was very powerful. The speaker spoke about food that parents don't that you might even have in your kitchen, but you don't know the power, how it flows your child's brain, And I also think that a lot of parents don't know that the foods that are packaged as one thing, they are not what they seem to be, and we don't know that. So yes, I will not dwell so much on proper nutrition, but because we already had that session last week. But one thing parents should know that food is very important to your child's success. Their brain develops mainly by what they eat. And, I've had to have a lot of conversations with parents that told their children, and see that they kind of struggle to pay attention, have self-regulation because of by the time you have this conversation and ask parents question, the truth will come out. So what do they eat? After we've talked about everything, what has happened, can we manage and support the child? Okay, so let's go down to the causes of this. What do you think? Before I can help you, I need to know what may have caused this, and how we can begin to highlight those things and reduce the impact of those things. Food always comes up. Like maybe they've had those chocolate milk drinks that are high in sugar, and that kind of impacts their their behavior at school. So begin to knock them up, begin to recommend, like, okay, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Apart from that, also sleep is very, very highly recommended. Parents, please get your children to school, to bed early. Throughout the whole school year, what you can do for your children is make sure they get to bed, they sleep early. After school, they can go for their after school. If they have after school extracurricular activities, sleep is very crucial. The way we are all learning as adults now, because we used to underrate sleep as adults, I see that, okay, without sleep, I don't function well. Children also, they need at least 10 hours of good sleep to help their brain function. Children come to school grumpy, snappy, they get into trouble for snapping, and it was not their fault, because they stay up late watching, and also, can I also talk about screen? I know that's a very controversial controversial topic. Screen time, it is a very, very controversial topic. Some parents let their children have screen during the week. That's okay. It depends on them. But personally, I do not let my kids have screen time. Now they have screen time as they please. And like I said, one of the ways that they already know, we have this conversation. It's okay, you can have screen time, but in 2 weeks, when school starts, we're gonna have to reduce. We'll go back to a Wawa. They already know, and they say, "Oh, let me enjoy it right now," because school time, I don't get screen time during the week. I only get it over the weekend. In fact, from Friday night, they get it. And I see that there wouldn't be a lot of tantrums. We reduce behavior, especially when children know what's coming. They don't ask so many questions. They can negotiate. They will always want to negotiate. Can I get extra 1 hour? Can I extra 10 minutes? But it minimizes pressure, the reason to throw tantrums. When something just happens abruptly, just take the screen away from children. They begin to react because you haven't informed them. 10 minutes, count down, 5 minutes. These are also very nice tips that parents should use at home. So this next 2 weeks, let them know school is starting. You have 10 minutes to go. I'll take the screen. Discuss the steps, so that when it begins to happen, you're not experiencing arguments here and there, children crying. Give them a countdown. I always give them a countdown. Even in school, we do countdowns and say, well, in 10 minutes, the screen will be going off. Okay, in 5, now you have 5 minutes. They are prepared for it. It's very important. It really reduces disruptive behavior. It really reduces tantrums. And when it's 2 minutes more and that's it, thank you. You had 3 hours or 2 hours of screen today. So until next time again. Okay, mommy, they put it away. Right. And then they already know that in 2 weeks' time, you'll be back to Monday to Friday, no screen. I always talk about that, because the impact of screen also, we see that also as teachers in school, right? It still all boils down to the whole attention thing. And the interesting thing is that the classrooms in the schools, we have you would normally have 25, 30 children, right, to one teacher. And every teacher really tries their best to work with every single child within the period of time that they have, the blocks of time that they have during the day. And if your children get so much screen time and they go to bed late, what do you think the next day is going to be like? And you wake them up grumpy. What do you think? Somebody that, even if as adult, when you do that, anytime you binge watch Netflix and I go to bed 2, 3, I know what I am in for the next day. I'll be sloppy, I'll be draggy. My children will come to me and, mommy, get up, because I know that what I've done the previous night. So it's the same for children. When they don't go to bed early and they've been watched, and when they've stayed on screen, of course, it really does impact. And when they start to call you from school, your child did this, your child snapped at someone, it's as a result of maybe screen time that they've had, or lack of sleep. So parents, please, you don't need, like I said, prepping your children for success in school does not require you being a teacher. It just requires you positioning them powerfully through sleep, through nutrition, through healthy conversations before then. Those conversations, the impact, I'm talking about the same thing over again, yes, because I know the importance of that conversation. It really, really sharpens them socially and emotionally. And when your child socially adjusts in school, first week, first month, 2 months, emotionally she's balanced, you have won in life. Because then you have a child who can navigate through every situation that they come across. They can stand up for themselves. They can speak their mind because you encourage them all the time. You listen to them all the time. You let them have their say. They speak, and you are able to support them. So yes, those are very, 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 very important tools. So from this, I put a takeaway that if there's anything you you take away from here, please, this bottom here, children need a strong foundation to succeed. A supportive environment that ensures proper nutrition, emotional security, and educational resources is vital for the child's healthy development. And by educational resources, I mean when you use the library, when you find when you use powerful conversations, it's always a winner. So, and I'm sorry, I will try to rush through the other two slides. And now how to work with teachers and support your child's growth. Honestly, I would say this is very easy. I want to believe we're not troublesome parents because and I know that it's one thing to prepare your child. The parents have their own responsibility. The teachers have their own responsibility. But your child even thrives successfully when both parties work excellently well together. Teachers are not there to reach onto your child, right? The common goal that you share is to support you, and the teacher's goal is to support your child's growth and your child's well-being. As a teacher, our goals are always supporting children's growth, supporting children's well-being throughout. Because as teachers, if I have a very healthy room, less behavioral situations, less tantrums, learning is always very smooth. And how do we work with teachers to make sure your child's growth is very important? I would always say you need to focus on collaboration. You're not the teacher's enemy. You're not enemies. Even when issues arise, the focus should be how do we find solutions, right? And one thing I always tell parents is that there are always the two sides to the story. You all know that, but in reality, there are always two sides to the story, right? Even though our children are good, they're wonderful, it's always leave that 1% of chance to hear the other side of the conversation before you go barging into the school. When my child tells me so, I believe them. But I always let them know. I always say, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to send an email to your teacher to find out what happened and how we can solve this. She knows I would check in. She knows I will not just listen and say, when parents respond to, really, that happened? That teacher, how dare she say that? Children already know that, yes, I'm going to get support. So I give them that opportunity to know that I can always bring stories. My mom would let's go. That reaction is very important, and teachers appreciate parents who seek to understand first what happened. I always say collaborate in terms of conflict resolution, how you can support teachers, let them know how they can reach you. They always let you know how you can reach them. The first week of school, they send the emails and all of them. My name is this, and I believe all teachers do that. And if they don't, please do well by sending an email and letting them know who you are, reaching out first. My name is this, my child is this, she's going to be in your class. If there's anything you feel like, for example, my children's names, they use their Nigerian names in class. I always say this is their name, that they prefer to be called this or that. For me and my daughter, I prefer a name, she prefers a name. So, but I always like to say they need to call your full Nigerian name, right? So I always you can call her this, my own, and that, the one she chooses. So either way, whatever, but I just kind of put extra information that I feel. You don't have to overshare, you don't have to overdo. It's just like, oh, I hear from you are putting, the moment I receive an email back from you, I'm like, okay, who is this? This child is in my class. I haven't met your child, but I kind already kind of have an idea of who you are, and it kind of sits in my head that this child is in my class. So it's always nice to initiate that first. You don't have to do it, like I said, but it's always very. I like it when I see parents respond to my emails. It gives me that warmth that okay, I'm in partnership with some people that respond to messages. So I would say, when you receive emails, thank you for your email, thank you for your time, respond. It encourages the teachers. Collaborate when they seek for volunteers. If you're not busy, please pop in, see how they are learning. It gives you a vibe of what the classroom feels like and how they interact in the classroom. Always volunteer. Keep open lines of communication. Like I said, send emails, let them know how you can be reached. If there are any issues, please always do well to respond immediately. And that brings us to, questions to ask. I've talked about approaching issues in terms of always, for example, when your child says something like, you notice your child is not happy about going to school. So instead of me saying things like, my child is not sending an email, my child is not happy about coming to school, I would say use a different approach, right? Send an email like saying things like, my child is, let's say, for example, Tammy has been not been, I would say something like Tammy has not been excited about doing her schoolwork lately, and or maybe she's discouraged about doing her schoolwork lately, and I would like to discuss how we can support Tammy to get back on track, or how we can see how we can resolve this. At least that email goes is not looking like you're attacking the teacher or blaming her for Tammy's setback or whatever you notice. It's about, as a parent, I am addressing, I'm putting out a concern. So you sending emails and you seeking for information should always come from a place of concern. When you go from there, you're not accusing, you're not blaming, you're just seeking for information how to support your child. And you always have to say how both of us can, always make them remind them that how both of us can actually support the child. Or if a child has come on to say, I don't think my teacher likes me, my teacher hates me or something, you don't have to go, oh, this person said, John said his teacher, you don't like him. And it's this, what's going on? Can we have a conversation about this? A teacher opening that email and reading that would go like, oh, wow, that's a bold claim. But you mean I don't like your child? You already kind of gives that teacher a bit of, ugh. But if you kind of send that email saying, just generally saying, for rewarding and rephrasing the email, it goes a long way. The right choice of words, if you say, John mentioned to me that you're not happy with him or something, and I think that you can say I suggest, or that might be a form of miscommunication. I would like us to meet and talk about this, how John is feeling, and how we can both support him through this phase or something. So it's a collective task. I'm not blaming you. I noticed something, and every parent has a right to express how they feel from a point of concern for their child, and every teacher has a duty to respond to a parent when it's coming from a place of concern. My job is to ensure that your child's well-being is very important, emotionally, physically, in every area of the academically as well. So if there are issues academically, I always say, please, 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 please send an email. Let them know you're a very responsive parent. Teachers like parents who are very responsive. So yes, I'm writing to clarify what's going on grades and John's grades in clarify about then John's grade in math. I see that there has been a drop. Always don't do blanket emails. Always be so specific. I saw that he dropped from an A to a B, and I was wondering what the lapses may be. If you don't mind, if you can meet with me and we'll go through the teacher knows that yes. I personally am always very happy when parents tell me what they want to know, because it actually does help me do my job. So partnerships are very, very strong. And that really, really helps. I always say, one thing I also always say is that most parents, if you are blessed to have extra finances, support the classroom with extra resources. I know that school supplies can be expensive, but yes, teachers always like when they have, not every child has the opportunity to come to school with resources. And as teachers, sometimes we just kind of always cover the gap without the child feeling very, other children feeling bad. So I always encourage parents, my friends, and I always say, you know what, they should, instead of sending 4 pencils, you can actually send 8. If you know you can afford it, it goes along with you actually blessing a child, you're blessing a life. And we moved to Edmonton. My child went to school, and first school she went to, I asked for school. It was in January, and I was like, "Well, can I have the school supply?" The teacher was like, "Oh no, 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 she'll be fine." I'm like, "No school supplies? That's weird." And by the time we left and she came home, she brought so huge binders, school books, and I'm like, "Wow." I actually messaged the teacher to say thank you. We didn't bring any stuff. She was like, no, no, no. Some parents like do double. Some people they always have excess, which is good. So she didn't have to. I could have paid, but she was like, no, don't worry, don't because he just moved in. She's new. I thought, that was very, very supportive. That teacher supported my child and supported me emotionally because we just moved. Everything was all over the place. With one leg in, one leg. I didn't even know which stores to go to when it was cold. So she just saved me the whole idea of going to go and be shopping, looking for supplies up and down during the winter. And for my child as well, she had a very smooth transition. Like she didn't even feel like she had just moved from somewhere. Her transition to school was very smooth. So I always also encourage parents that you'll be doing a lot of good if you can do that. It supports the classroom, it supports the students, it supports the teacher as well. Now, the key takeaway for this, when parents and teachers collaborate and share responsibility, children receive the comprehensive support they need to thrive. Like, for example, my child's example I just gave, this teamwork is key to a child's holistic development. Please, 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 we are not your enemy. We want to work with you. Honestly, we honestly want every child to thrive. So when you do your bit at home, we do our bit in school. And when we come together, your child is sure to succeed the entire year. And one thing I also know is that I don't get issues in my classroom when I communicate with parents, right? So I like it when I update parents and say weekly, this is happening this week. That is happening. That, like I said before in the beginning, predictability. When parents know what's coming, it helps my conversations because I know as a parent, I use those things to have conversations. Your teacher emailed me that you're doing this week. Your teacher emailed me, how is that going for you? I'm not very conversant with grade 5 to 6 and the topics in math and whatnot. But so we are doing this in school. When I was in school, I didn't like that probability because there's too much guessing going on. Guess what? Like my daughter told me about probability. I understood it more from her as opposed to how I understood it in school. So, so many conversations are very powerful. My daughter told me recently, Mom, you're so passionate about math. I'm like, yes, because it's deep. I didn't really like math in school because the way I was taught. And she goes, do you know you can actually help moms and everybody because the way math is now, you have to really think. Now I'm seeing what you mean by math, understanding math from a place of visual as opposed to rote learning numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. You explain math. Math is it's a love language. I was like, because she sees what I do in terms of how I spend my time, what I read up on, and she goes, "You can actually do that." And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm delving into a new terrain of actually supporting moms and teachers and how to on tips and practical tips for math strategies. So when you have those conversations, you're raising confident children. You're raising people who can think, who can analyze situations, who can observe, because you sharpen their brain through conversations. So far, so good. I haven't said become a teacher, right? I haven't said you have to go and take a course on. It's just being a mom, enjoy, have conversations, bond, have fun, play. Recently, her interest is lying in dancing. Honestly, but anything we have to do to kind of share those because as they grow up, their interests change. My younger ones still want to play role play. Mommy, let's do this one. Pillow fight. The older one is just like, nah. Do you want to do a video with me? The TikTok, I'm like, okay, you're not on TikTok, but she just likes to let's just do something together. We record ourselves on my phone or something, but she just likes it. So yeah, we have to keep looking for a way to collaborate with our children, collaborate with the teachers throughout the year. Once their mental health is healthy, you can't do anything from a place of if you're struggling mentally, right? So yeah, once their mental health is very healthy, you have children who are able to, withstand the all the arrows that school throws at them. And when you make yourself available to have those conversations with them, they bring all their problems to you, even when it's not yours. That's the part I always like. Because when it's not there, it's somebody else's. When they come and tell me about it, and I use the opportunity to know, what do you think about that situation? It was you. What would you have done? I get to hear they how they see life from their own perspective, which is very good. So yes, collaborations are very important. Ask the right questions. When you go and see teachers, please, parent conferences, those things are too short. 15, 20 minutes for, like, before you see them again, it's like another 3, 4 months. A lot of things have happened to your child in between. So normalize sending emails, right? And when you happen to see, if you're having any meeting with any teacher, go with what you want to talk about, like make those points. Very important things that you know that the teachers don't have time. So if they're giving you any time out of their schools, like they will try to crunch it. So make sure you're asking specific questions about your concerns. This is, can you show me? Can you support me? Can you point me into the direction of how to? And before you leave, make sure you are the parent that is saying, okay, so thank you for your time. I will, don't just say, I will work on it, thank you, and you leave. Yes, you will work on it. I will give you feedback in 2 weeks. So that parents know that I'm doing my part and I'm also giving you feedback, that we are both working together. So while you're working at home, that teacher knows that this parent is waiting to see progress in 2 weeks. That collaboration is for both of us to do things that I'm doing at home, you're doing it in school. We've shared the strategies that we're going to do together. I will check back again in 2 weeks. Always have, like, go in prepared and planned. They don't have time. So don't take offense when they say, oh, I can only see you for 15, 10 minutes. It's a very busy day with many children. So please, please, please go in prepared. Ask the specific questions. Don't forget that when you are sending emails, don't send blaming emails. Remember, don't send your emails when you are angry. Send those emails specifically to clarify what your concern is, and you are looking for support. The shared goal is your child's growth. The common goal you have is your child's growth and well-being. Again, that is very, very, if your child is mentally and socially and emotionally balanced, they, throughout the year, will be able to navigate any difficulty they come across on their own. So, the last one is effective way to nurture a love for learning at home. I have kind of talked about this in between. The best way to make sure that let your child have a nature for love for learning at home is when you turn every day into learning moments. Again, as a teacher, I'm going to be very honest with you. When children come into the classroom, you will know children who have conversations, who do these things at home with their parents, because the type of conversations they have, children share their experiences a lot in school, and the things they're able to say, the knowledge they share, you can tell is deep. It's coming from a place of somebody has had this conversation with them before. That's not to say that we don't do our job as teachers to support those that don't know. It's just to say that I can tell, right? And of course, all of us as moms, we're here today in this meeting because we're looking for strategy. We want our children to be well equipped for school. So yes, I do this, but like I said, reading. Even when I try to run something, they'll bring the book to me. Please read to me. And I like, what if there's anything any parents, I would advise any parents to do, please try and develop a child's love for books. That is one thing that is highly non-negotiable. I would tell you that's a secret to a child's success. When children read for pleasure, they read for the love of it. They don't have, it's not a chore. It's not a punishment, like, go and read your books. Go and read it. No, it's like your children is asking to go to the library. I finished this piece. I love it. It's a book about It's always very good. And how do you start that? You start that from a very young age. From the womb, in fact, just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, reading to your toddlers, storybook, finger play, daddy finger, nursery rhyme. Those things are very, very, very essential. I have always carried books in my car. So many years back, I would have a book at the back or the back seat of the car. When they're in the cars, they don't. I just only recently started giving them their iPads in the car, but I mix that because now they are wiser. We don't want power tussle. They can have what they want to have. They enjoy it, but I balance it. So they will have books and they would have this. Recently, if they were going out, they would always lean towards taking things that are non-device. Like they would naturally go and take a meeting, whatever. They would take a writing pad that they can draw. Before, sometimes they would ask for their tab. It's okay. But I see the balance. Even when I'm not there, they don't It's not tabs all the time to the car. They on their own, they take other things. Because in the car, I will stop the car with things that they can do um apart from the device. So it's something that it's an habit. And those daily habits always equip us parents because at the end of the day, a child becomes very independent. They know what they should, they don't struggle with what to choose to help them, So I would say I also turn learning moments into fun is because it's very important to raise children who are very curious. Curious not to poke nose, but curious to ask questions, curious to know why does the moon turn yellow? Why does this? They're curious because the moment as you read books, books take you to places you have never been before. It opens up the world to you. It allows you to ask questions, allows you to question the status quo. So children, if a child likes to read a lot of, it helps their literacy levels in school. It just helps every subject, to be honest. You can hear a child say, I once read that in a book. The literacy, the reading for children who are young, it introduces them to prints. Some books don't have, for young people that have young children, some books don't have prints. They're picture books. That's fine also. Some children read their books upside down. That's fine. As long as as long as they're engaging with the book. For toddlers, you don't have to read word for word, just a quick, just look at the pictures because they don't even have the bandwidth for you. Like, the attention span is shorter. So just flip. It's just that culture of reading. That's what I'm trying to say. The culture of reading, the culture of interacting with the book is always a blessing to have. And as a mom, I take advantage of thrift shops. I take advantage of Dollarama toys that I know that they can do, that involves them to think. I love puzzles. There are different levels of puzzles, 2 piece, 4 piece, 6 piece, 48. You keep going like that. Something for them to do. Leverage on puzzles. Leverage. The other day, my child was interested in sewing because, again, this holiday, even as much as I let them have the tabs, I don't let them have the tabs in the morning. It gets about maybe 1 or 2. And when they say I'm bored, what can I do? I ask them, think. And I share my story when I was young. We didn't have TV. We just played with each other. We came up with games. We loved it. Our play was communal. So those kind of things, you see them. Oh, mommy, how about I learn how to sew? Good, very good idea. I support you. Let's go Dollarama. We buy needles, we buy plastic, whatever. Now they sew. Now we sew. Now we use. The other day I bought her a sewing machine. Now she will try her hands on new things. So the other things you can do, all you have to do is just support them in the first few days of using that new thing and then leave it to them. And you don't always have to let them make mistakes with it. Let them just spend time doing those things. So learning moments, and because as a teacher also, I know the learning expectations. Like I said, I'm not very conversant with my child in grade 5 or 6, but what I do is I look at the curriculum, what they're going to learn in the year. Like I said, I have an idea of that. And I just use that to have conversations. For the younger ones, I know. So I know what they're supposed to be doing, the developmental milestones. So at home, I always say when they're taking a bath, I have a 3-year-old. None of my children did I ever see to teach, but I always say, we're taking a bath as young as early as 2. I'm washing your hair now. I talk about every single thing you're doing. So anything you are doing, if you're going up the stairs, talk about it. Would you like me to change your diaper now? Mommy's going to take a pee-pee. Would you like to take a pee-pee as well? You're developing language. You're developing literacy and logos, understanding the world around them. Just talk about things, right? So when I buy resources from Dollarama, it's because I know what it will do for them. Will it strengthen their fingers? I buy like cube or those bricks or those staples. I just buy things that they can normally play because I know that it in school is part of their goals. So you get what I mean? So if I know that they have to develop their grip, I will buy things like different media of writing, pencils, crayons, fat crayons. Every time they have these options of things that they can use. So I also follow their curiosity. If my child is recently interested in baking, this summer went to a baking class, and after that baking class, oh my God, she has single-handedly baked banana bread. She made what's that thing called again? I don't remember, the round one. Anyway, and I like that because now she's talking about measurements. Because every time I used to bake, I involve them. Involving your children in everything you do. I know that not exactly everything, but as much as you can, they're picking up things from you. When I'm baking, she's there, and I'm talking about math. I'm talking about fractions. Fractions is one very difficult topic, but because as a mom, I conquered fractions by like I said, maths is real life situations by in the kitchen, measuring half. So you do half. What I'm doing, I'm beating the eggs. How many eggs do we need? Half of that will be what? What's a three-quarter of this? I don't have a half cup. What do we do? Ah, you see how, okay, how about we do 2 quarters? A quarter and a quarter will give us half. How about okay, 3 quarters? And he goes, okay, that will be 3 quarters. Like those things help them to use their math. And the other day I was doing more. I was like, okay, I need those tins. I need like da, 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 da. Then I put everything out in an array, like lines of three, 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 three. And I asked her how many teams do I have? She was like, how you look at it and you do the multiplication. You have 3 here, you have 4 here, 3 times 4 is 12. So academically, everything is around you. Everything starts in the home. The school supports the journey. As moms, we can really, 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 really help our children if we if we continue to have those like maximize those opportunities, right? And those ones, every single day, there's something on the road. If you are driving, you see a stop sign. It's a shape of octagon. When you go, umbrella. When you say umbrella, when you open the other day, when you opened your umbrella, my daughter was like, look, how many triangles are in them? What you don't see, they see. And because you talk about those things, they make those connections on their own and their own point of view. When you hear it, you're like, wow, that's some learning going up in there. I showed you a calendar. My younger child, this calendar up here. My younger child would say, Tofi, oh, that's Monday, Tuesday. And the other day, our birthdays are in August. They circled what comes before August. I could see both of them I wasn't involved, but it was just a conversation between because the opportunity for the calendar was there. They're interacting with it. Put things around the house that it helps them to have conversations about learning. So yes, you can do those things. And if you're going shopping, that's another amazing one. Reading labels with your younger one. The older one, let them pay. Ask them, this is $3.50. If I give them a $5, how much is a change? How much change will you get? And I say, okay, when you give them money and they say, how much money do you have? How are you going to spend your money? A guest came to the house recently, gave them money. And she was like, oh, I have $100. How do you share? There's 3 of you. How do you share it? I still took the money from her, but of course, it was a learning opportunity. Give me that money before I collect it. Okay, let's have this conversation. How do you think you're going to share? She was even like, oh, okay, mom, because I'm the oldest, I take 40. I'm like, huh? No, there's nothing like that. How do you share it equally? Okay, how about we do 35, 35, 30? What's your sharing formula? Because I'm older. I'm like, seriously. So we're just having fun. We're laughing, but guess what? It's helping her use her math. It's helping her use her thinking skills. Like I said, baking, now she reads all her ingredients, she reads the procedure herself. Comprehension is very important. When you read something and you comprehend, then you're able to demonstrate what you have read. So her starting her baking from start to finish shows me, wow, she can actually follow a process. Let me tell you something. Children find it very difficult to follow a process. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. You tell a child, get the bag and put it downstairs and put whatever on it. You have lost them at the first one. Drop the bag. You hear, what did you say again? What did you say again? The more they do these things at home, the more they are used to multiple steps in instruction. It does help them in school because when you don't send them on errands, when you don't ask them to do things, it shows up in their math. For example, this person, David had 3 apples, and then he gave this person half. How many apples does David have? Or they say 9 plus 3 is this, then minus 3 from the answer that you already have. You see that some of them will only do the first instruction, leave the other one. They've just done 9 plus 3 is 12, minus 6 from the other, that instruction. So you see children who just make it up to halfway because they're not familiar with following through a process. Right? So consistency also helps too, mom. Is consistency at home. If they know that this is their schedule, from what I showed you, some people, when they see what they have to do, it helps. You don't have to keep talking. Have you done this? Have you done that? But if they have this schedule, over time, some children outgrow it because now they know they can self-regulate. So it's very important. Someone's unmuted. So it's very, very important that they have something visually to see. It helps you from having to remind them all the time. And you see, reward them, praise their effort, reward them for remembering their schedule every evening and all of that. You would see the rewards. You will see what that translates to in the school year. So Honestly, moms, is a lot. I know we have our life, we have our jobs, but when you start this gradually, because it becomes a daily habit. It becomes what you already do. These things we already do them, but you just don't maybe not channel them properly. You don't squeeze out the educational opportunities that it presents to you. So start to look at these opportunities in a completely different way. You know, like the money issue. Now, somebody gave them money. Normally, I would have taken and put it away, but I chose to just spend a few seconds analyzing and seeing if how she would divide the money with her siblings. You just keep every opportunity alive for learning. It does help them succeed in school. So overall, when we plan well from the beginning, the routines, they help them transition into school. It helps them, whether they are 3 year olds, whether they're 4 year olds, talking about these things, prepping, you know, it does help them. Please, I said in the beginning, I would like to say it again. Parents, start your conversations from now. The night before school is not the night to drill them. We get overwhelmed if I have too many instructions. My boss is telling me, like I said, the scenario of the new job, they do this, do that. I feel like, what a first day. That was too much information. I'm overwhelmed, overloaded. Children feel the same way. I always say a lot of people don't understand that their minds are small, they cannot respond like how adults respond. I always tell people, I say, wear that lens. If you wear the sunglasses that have a blue frame, when you wear it, what do you see? You see blue. If you wear orange, you see orange. When you are talking about children, wear a blank one. Like, think like them. Be in their mind. If this was a child, be in their mind. They cannot take all the information because we feel overwhelmed too. How much more them on the first day? They're dealing with walking into the class, not knowing who they're going to see, not knowing their teacher. You've left them, they're afraid, So I think it's the night before is not the time to load them with all the instructions. Listen to your teacher. Make sure you do this. Make sure you do that. They are actually, it's too much. Just like how we feel too. They don't. You should have had it coming. The night before, maybe just do what you have to do and ease. Read a story like you normally would read, and maybe like one of the books about kindness, or maybe welcoming everybody or whatever, and just sleep. The next day, see a good. Take them to school, hug, cover them in prayer. That's very important. Like Dami said in the beginning, prayers, yes, we pray for their protection. We always pray for their purpose, their character, their faith. We pray for their hearts and minds. But yes, these things are also as a teacher. Again, I hope you're able to see my what I'm trying to say from a parent point of view and a teacher point of view. Like we see those things, and I know that if you help your children develop these skills at home, it's it solidifies who they are in school. That it gives them a certain level of competence that you cannot buy. Like even school cannot give them because there's even no time to give them those skills. Those skills you're developing at home, sure, they only come to school to demonstrate it, and it helps them take them from one level to another. So children who are not equipped, you see them like you can tell. You can tell, even while the teacher is trying to develop those skills in school, they're, they're working on so many other things. A teacher is working with so many children, right? So it becomes really, really, really tough to get those skills in. So, mummies, I think what's our takeaway from here? Yeah. At the end of the day, supporting your child's learning isn't about having the perfect home setup or knowing every answer, like I said. It's about creating a safe, encouraging environment. Like I said, use your home opportunities where curiosity can grow, where confidence can grow, where self-reliance can grow, where connection can grow. When we plan well, when we plan these things well from their routines, from the first slide, like I said, emotional, mental, physical routines, when you work well with teachers, the child is thriving, you and the teacher are having in constant communication, not constant, but when there's a need, right? And when you are going in, you know what you are asking, you know what you are seeking in those 15 minutes or vital 15 minutes you have. And you make learning part of everyday life. Our children don't just learn, they develop confidence, problem solving skills, a genuine love for discovering new things. It is balanced. There's nothing more, honestly. It is balanced. Trust me, they'll be able to negotiate friendships. They'll be able to know what's good or bad for them. That's very important. They're able to say no to some things. And if they're struggling to say no, they know they can come back and ask you if they actually made a good decision. What do you think? So, and always just be there for them, support them through it. And that's it from me. I know I've taken so much of your time. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
I
much.
am so, so sorry. We just had
I
a whole lot
can imagine.
to
Thank you
share.
so much. Ladies, can we just thank Mrs. Olubusola Akinpelu
Yeah, I
for
don't mind taking questions. I haven't been in the chat. I can't see
don't worry,
anything.
we're gonna give it to you for
How
such
do
an
I stop
amazing,
sharing?
amazing. You can just the green button, just click on it to stop share, yes. Or the red one at the top.
Doesn't tell me
Let me
anything. I know usually would show me stop sharing, but it's telling me share. I can't
yep.
see stop.
Let me
Have I
just
stopped
see.
sharing already?
No, it's still showing. Let me just stop it for you.
Okay, you can do that. Please do.
Yes. So I stopped it for you already. But let's just think, where are we in the chats? Are you
Let
telling? I've not seen it. I'm not seeing drum rolls. I'm not seeing, come on, guys, let's do it better. Let's do it better. Families are rising. We know how to appreciate our people. This was such an amazing, amazing conversation. Like I couldn't just stop. Like I was just going on and on. Like, if you see the chats, you should go through the chats. It was such an amazing, amazing. You even reinforced some of the things that well, I personally already started to do, but I didn't even have a language for it. Like I knew that we should do this, but I didn't think that it was something that was this necessary and this important. And how you constantly emphasize that whatever it is that we're doing, it's not just for now. It is who they eventually become. The seeds that we sow today, even as little as preparing them for school, eventually becomes the mighty tree that now becomes who they are, what they stand for, how they show up. I was highlighting, I said this thing that this lady is teaching us is networking 101. Because if we don't
mm-hmm.
know how to ask intelligent questions or even engage
Honestly.
someone,
Mm-hmm.
how do you want to, how this how people meet, investors, they meet their life partners, but they don't even know how to engage. Like they have no clue what the kind of questions to
Mm-hmm.
ask. They cannot spark up, thoughtful conversations. And,
Mm-hmm.
and it still boils down to what did they see emulated to them? Knowing social intelligence, how to observe your environment and take cues. You see someone, tired, you see somebody asking questions, you cannot understand that, oh, this person is not feeling excited, or someone is sad, or someone is unhappy. This was so mind-blowing, knowing how to ask questions intelligently, and then highlighting the way we as parents respond also matters. Because if our children come to ask us questions, the way we respond also determines how they will respond to this kind of questions outside. And then he exposes us because now our teachers can tell that there's something going on in the house. I remember a similar situation, and this also boils down to having the right community of people because it just made me
Exactly.
realize that I have good people in my corner. I remember that my daughter's teacher was saying something about her handwriting because I know she writes well, but she said, "Oh, the handwriting is not really strong." And I'm like, "The handwriting is not well. We just changed square and tell me that my daughter's writing is not well." So I spoke to a senior parent in Families that is one of our directors, and she said she's probably right. Maybe my daughter is just maybe she's nervous because it's a new school. That I should work with the
Yeah.
teacher, follow what she
Mm-hmm.
says, then let her
Mm-hmm.
know that these are the things I will be doing so that we can both track. And by the time I went for the open day and had conversations with her, the teacher was like, "Oh, thank you, Mrs. Ogutolu. I'm so impressed with the difference that I'm seeing from the last time we spoke. Thank you for listening and for making it easy for me to work with her." I didn't realize that it was a big deal. I didn't realize that, all of these
Mm-hmm.
things are part of how and who they become. So good. Thank you. Thank you so much. We
You're
had a couple of
welcome.
questions, and I do
Okay.
have questions. Dema was asking earlier for book recommendations that we can start with. And it was in the chat when you spoke about building a learning culture and a learning
Right.
habit, how we can make it easy for our children to start, especially for toddlers and maybe young adults and then maybe teens, tweens and teens.
All right. Um, I So what I normally would do is I probably just it, for those that live in maybe Canada or US when they have the public libraries, when I have time, I quickly just go into the online book and just put in books about kindness, friendship, starting a new school year. I see the topics, I kind of read the back before I go into the library. If you don't have time to do that, I just kind of skip and read quickly. I know a few that we've read that we really, really love. Um, The Invisible Thread. I can actually get a list for you because we've already go. We've enjoyed a lot of books about kindness. I need to actually look and get
Okay.
back to you. But as a teacher, um, I like to read books about differences because and that's very important for parents, African moms, because our children, they're not even just dealing with um, new friends. They're not just dealing with new teachers. They're dealing also with people that don't look like them. They're dealing with lack of representation. They're dealing with um, how do I even, they know they look different. So how do I begin to have this conversation? Do they start to feel less of themselves? I like this book, Hair Love, on Amazon. It's a great book. It talks about appreciating our hair. Um, oh my gosh, I don't know, all the books just went off my head. There's Hair Love. There's this one by um I can actually get a list across to you, to be honest. I can do that. I can send that via email and parents can look at that. I also got one from one of the bookstores. Oh, don't remember the name. It's a perfect book. When I read that book, I have it. I don't know if I can quickly call my daughter to go get it. Let me show it to you.
Would love
I'm gonna
that.
call that book was a game changer because the book talked about racism. You know, sometimes I personally, it's a thin line between a teacher and being a parent because you don't want your child to go in with a wrong mindset, right? So and when I have to also talk about diversity and talk about our faith, I also don't want them to see people who don't align with our faith. We share different beliefs, see them from another point of view. So it's quite a very difficult. And my daughter would tell me, but you are doing this in school, you're teaching this in school, right? I have to. It's my job because we have that week, that month in the year, that middle of the year, that we have to talk about certain topics that I don't really endorse at home. And one day she said, well, how do you feel, mommy? That must be hard on you. Like, you don't, yeah, but then you have to do it because you have to get. So those kind of conversations are learning opportunities to say sometimes we do things that we don't, but we just have to, but doesn't change my values, you know, and how she should navigate those relationships in school as well. All right.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it a
When she
lot.
comes across those kind of things, how do you navigate those conversations? I'm just gonna.
All
Hi, Jody.
right.
Please tell Tofi to come down quickly.
Fantastic. Okay, so if you have questions, please don't forget to put it in the chat so that we can just take it all together. So we can take it all together while she's trying to get us the list. Um,
There's a question in the chat right now.
okay, let's see. There's one other one. Okay, my daughter is starting kindergarten, but using the bus from day one, I don't find that good. Okay, let's get our attention back. Okay, so you're muted. Can you help? Yes, please unmute. There's a question in the chat by Esele. Yes. Can you see that? Do you want me to read it out for you?
Please read it because I'm way down, down, down. I was reading the comment.
Okay, she says, my daughter is starting kindergarten, but using the bus from day one. At what point
Hmm.
do I go to school to meet the teacher? And for a first-time mama, any nuggets as my daughter starts at a fully French school?
Oh, hi, Mama. I would say kindergarten is the first time leaving home, like proper big school.
Yes.
Oh, you'll be okay. To be honest, thank you very much. You'll be okay. French, yes, that's a different kettle of fish, but your child will be fine. When my daughter went to French school for a year in her kindergarten. I was as worried as I'm like, okay, that's a completely different language. She survived, she was fine. But for kindergarten, it's always, like I said, emotional detachment is very, very key. Like prepare them. Make sure your kindergarten child can do things for themselves. Because in a kindergarten class, your child will get ahead if the child can use the toilet on their own, they can wipe. And then it includes wiping her bum at the back. Teachers have limited resources in school, right? I always do I always recommend the children being able to tie their own shoe. They probably can't tie their shoelaces. Don't buy shoelaces, just buy the flap ones. Something they can easily go into and flap. And they're already on the line. The child is not constantly behind. Like I said, the trick is always send your child on errands. One step errand, get your shoes, get your bag, carry your stuff. Let them be able to do things. Let them begin to hear that. Okay, just like what's that word? Ginger. Just always just keep them giving them instructions. Let them follow one step instruction. When you see that they're doing that one step very well, you can do two step, right? You can say lay your bed and tuck in your pillow. Put your dolls on the bed and also cover just like two step. Add one more. Add one more to it. You can go upstairs now. Thank you. So add one more to it and then just keep doing that. But most important, let them be able to open their own lunchbox and their school bag, zipping, unzipping, dressing themselves. These are things that get in the way. 25 children. When your child is able, your child's teacher will thank you very much and say, well done, because that's like a lot of weight lifted off them. So just don't worry. Just kindergarten, don't worry about so many things. I would say before anything academics, just make sure your child can say their name, their surname. And I'm not really particular about. It's good if they know their parent. They should be able to say their parents' name. Just talk about themselves. I'm from here. Because when they ask them, they should be able to say, I'm from this country. Confidence. What else? Let them be able to, like I said before, open and cover them and close their school lunch, put it in their bag, zip up. Just keep practicing. Whatever you bought for them, now let them practice. Just that confidence that they're not struggling, because children, they can actually read the room. When they see that they're the only ones wasting time, you start seeing them crying, emotional outburst that has taken away from the teachers trying to align the children. But going out for play, they're wearing your snow pants, fine, they still go around to help, but let your child be halfway, not just standing and looking and waiting for somebody to come and help them. That they read the room, and that kind of discourages to see that I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing stuff to hear. I don't want to go to school. Somebody laughed at me because I couldn't wear my jacket. So prepare them emotionally and mentally for it. Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for answering. Do we have any other
Yep.
questions? There's just one more. And it's how can parents like teach? Because you mentioned earlier that, every opportunity is a learning opportunity,
Yeah,
right? How
absolutely.
can parents teach their children through their own emotional roller coasters? Because sometimes we want to, we have a lot of things going on. Like you mentioned, we have work, we have family, and as we grow older, our parents are also growing older, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
middle of life things happening, and then our kids, we want them to be able to take action on their own. Whereas we also did not have, we didn't have any speedy growth somewhere. How can we help them understand that, "Oh, I get you. I know that you cannot perform magic, but I'm also going through stuff, and this is what it means for me," right? As opposed to just busting out or just doing everything for them without equipping them
Yeah.
at all.
So can you reckon rephrase that question again? I
So
didn't
how
kind
can
of get what you.
parents teach their children through their own emotional roller coaster? So those become learning moments.
Oh my God, that's a very that's a very interesting one. But what I do that works is that I actually, children are human and they can see that, they understand that we have emotion, because I also help my children to name their emotions. So when they're kind of having a misunderstanding, I always say, or maybe they want something, they want a toy, they're fighting over something. I go and say, I understand that you're upset. You want this toy right now, but your brother first off, I think maybe took the toy off you. That feels that makes you feel very sad. I understand. But how about we wait 5 minutes? Because I know your brother would play with it and dump it and move on to something else. How about you wait for 5 minutes and then we you can or choose something, or maybe like offer another toy and reassure them that in 5-10 minutes, once he drops it, he can have it. So I help them to name those. It's important for your children to be able to name emotions. I feel sad about that. I was exhausted. I was frustrated, you know and then because I'm able to help them to do that, they're able to understand those emotions. So when I'm not, like yesterday, I was doing so many things on work. My daughter comes, Mommy, are you doing your work? I'm like, yes. Yeah, what are you working on right now? And I'm like, Sophie, right now, I just got some kind of news I wasn't happy about. And I was just like, oh, she said, was that about your sister again? Like, because we have those conversations, she's able to engage. She's able
Mm.
to recognize my own feeling. And when I'm upset, I'm like, I'm not trying to be all good and all be saint here. Sometimes I actually like, leave me alone. When the noise, I'm like, everybody. My daughter would go like, okay. She would just go away. And then she would come
Oh,
back. That was quite an outburst. Are you okay? I'm like, okay, I'm so sorry. I caught myself. I'm like, I'm so sorry that happened. Like, deep breath. Let's do that again. So yes, they know that they know I don't shy from I don't try to perfect. They know I have my moments and they don't recognize that when I lose it, they come back to have that conversation. My little one would say, why are you so mad? Do you feel better now? So they see my emotions. They're able
yes.
to name those emotions because I help them to name those. And they always know that when somebody's not feeling okay, when they're feeling good about something, we let them have that opportunity to breathe and then we can unpack that later. So they're
Mm.
able to do that with me to say, okay, were you stressed about dinner? Because I'm like, yes. So she's like, I can help. Don't worry about that. I can help. So it's okay. I can, what would you like me to do? You want to get your work done? I can do dinner, chicken and fries or pancake. She will just like, look for. Okay. So that's the, when you keep talking about how you feel and how they feel, name it. How can we support each other? They're able to support you eventually as they grow older. Or you will do a lot of supporting when they're younger because tantrums are, 5, 6, 7. Before you know it, they begin to be able to regulate their own emotions, express themselves when they need to. They understand how they can express themselves in such a way that does not hurt other people. So I think it's really good if you talk about it more. Then they're able to understand you. I don't know if I answered your question. Is that what you mean? Like,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
So, so good. Thank you so much. I see that you have a book for us. You wanted to show.
Yes, I have a book for you. It's called Our Skin.
Love it.
It's a beautiful book as it talks about everything. Like, sometimes you don't know where to start from. Even me as a teacher, I didn't know how to talk about racism with my children, right? So the definition of diversity is right in this book. The definition of racism, what it looks like, the right terms for children. So this is perfect. So we read this book. It's over and over and over and over again. And then you start hearing them ask questions. Does that mean that? And we are like, nope, we are all fine. And that through this book, I was able to say anything that you can't change about somebody. You don't make fun, you don't tease, you don't laugh at people because we're different. But this book talks about our differences, right? We're different in every single way. And I like that this book representation is right there. The children are seeing themselves,
Hmm.
people that look
Hmm.
like them. My daughter has always been, most of the time, the only black and brown skin student in the class. And she has so many friends. She's fine. I've never had to come home to tell me
Love it.
somebody, never, never. But that happened the first year we came into Canada, the first school she went to. She came home distraught. Her face was when she was telling me about it, I could see that her face was white. Every emotion was drained. She said, oh, I don't know how to say because it's disgusting. One child said I look like poop. Oh my God.
Wow.
I felt broken for her. And I said,
My
and that
God.
made you, I can see that that made really, really made you feel sad. I said,
Mm.
Mommy, well, I know that, guess what she said? I know that he doesn't know how to talk. I don't know. He doesn't know how to make connections, or maybe he's been told something differently and he's putting that on people. Even when you know some things, you don't go, you don't go
Hmm.
placing those labels on people. And wish she knows better. But I'm saying I absolutely agree with that. But you think you know if your skin is beautiful, you're brown, you're this, and all of that. Then sometimes we had conversations about hair. My little girl will come and say, style my hair long. I'm like, your hair is not long, your hair is afro.
Yours
It's
curly.
afro. Yeah, my 4-year-old when she went to school, can it be long? Can you do pigtails? I'm like, we don't really get pigtails, but we get like two chunky things, bulbs, like
Afro buns.
what do they call? They have a name they call them. Give me but two bonds. Yes, they like that style. So that's our own kind of pixie, So we have different traits. We do have different traits. Our own hair can style. We can look, we can wear weaves today, we can wear braids tomorrow, we can curl our hair tomorrow. So we are very special in how God was intentional about creating us. So we are beautiful. So those things they need to hear every single time, you know. So yeah, it would help them. Like I said, I've never since that first time, they haven't had any I haven't had any complaint or any conversation about anybody making them feel less about themselves because again, lots of books, they know how to navigate those social situations by themselves. This is a very good book. I know the author has different titles. This is one, it says being you. This one says being you. This one saying yes and no. Like
We'll definitely add it to the list of books
it's
that
really a nice book.
sending to us. So we're looking
Yeah.
forward to that list. So if you're not in the Mom 360 community, in the cafe, you're about to miss out on something important. Because that list is coming and the recommendations and all these books that
Yes,
she's
they're
mentioned.
really good ones. They're really good
So
ones that we've enjoyed.
find
Just
yourself in the community. Somebody please put the
yes,
link,
you should be. You should be in
the
that link.
link
Any
in the
more
chat.
questions from
I don't
anybody?
see any more questions. We know that we've taken your time as well, but thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're
You're
super,
welcome.
super. We know that we're probably going to come back again, but this has been mind-blowing, so good for me, and I'm sure so good for every other person here. Okay, I see
Oh,
Dima's
someone
hand.
has read this book. I need to reread this summer. Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Dama. Really
My
nice.
question is selfish. I'm like, how can I be your friend? I'm also an ECE. Mom, I love everything you've been saying. I'm like, I need to talk to this mom some more.
You're gonna have to pay me first.
Honestly,
Exactly.
Shay,
I was
the
going to say the
deal.
Like, this
same thing.
mom
You're gonna have to
is
pay me first before
I'm
you can be a friend.
I
Okay?
know.
I'm the
I'm
broker for
trying to
this
snatch
relationship.
your friend.
She's the mediator.
I'm the broker. I'm the broker.
Please,
She's the mediator
Yeah,
honestly.
it's very interesting though. It's very interesting that you guys don't know each other. I'm actually amazed. I thought you would know her. Like I was like, I just felt, you know what, Dima would know her. Because I mean, same circle, similar circle, and all that. I'm surprised you don't know her. Yeah, I'm a safe you know her, right? Yeah.
Ha.
I'm surprised that Dima, you see what I'm talking
I
about
think
since
it's
all this.
because Dema is
I can see
pretty
the
new.
evidence of
That's
the things I've
why.
been saying.
Dema is not, she's fairly new because I think I've known her as long as I've almost known you. Because you guys, you talk about her regularly. You post
Yeah,
her
but
as
I'm surprised that
often.
Dima doesn't know her because Dima was a teacher in Nigeria. Were you not?
I don't know
Yeah.
I was
Dama.
surprised that you don't know.
I'm working on my networking skills. I'm just
Yeah, you
practicalizing
definitely
it
need to
right
work on it.
All
now.
the things that she has
Someone
been
said we've
preaching, they are for you.
before.
Yes, I'm practicalizing my networking skills right now. Thank you for
Good
the
for you.
opportunity.
Oh, someone
Yeah,
said
good
you
for
know
you.
me. Really? Where do you know me from? We've chatted before.
Yeah,
Really?
that's Safe. Safe
That's
is a
nice.
teacher
Just show your
as well.
face. I don't know you. Let me see. I think I
Safe
know
is a
you
teacher
too.
as well. She's in the space as well. That's been so good. Busola and I grew up
Oh.
together, people of God. The person that came last week as well, we grew up together. She was my friend. Busola and I have known each other since we were even younger. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
family friends since
Wow.
we're little. We've been friends since we're little. So she's my sister. All right.
At this point, we don't call each other friends anymore. We're now
Yeah, we
sisters.
are sisters. We are sisters.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
anybody who
We're,
wants to know her has to go through me, okay? People of God.
No, let them just come straight into
Edie,
the
why are you doing
community.
like this?
Just come straight into the community. If you want to hear more from her, you
We're
want to
already
see
in the
more.
community, Sister Dami. I think we have
You're
this
not in the
access already.
community enough. There's a VVIP of a VIP premium, so you need to be
Ah,
there. You
Sister
need to show up.
Dami.
You need to show up every day. We need to see you participating. You must give your comments. You must share feedback. That's the only way we know that you're going to make use of this relationship. So please
Mhm.
do well.
The middle sister. I like it. I love that.
it's
That's been so
inserting,
good, guys.
which is
I've
okay.
had so much.
I'm so sorry I took
I've
all of
had
your
it's been
time.
so great, so great, so great. Thank you, thank
I,
you. I know
I,
that.
I, I like to talk. I like to share. So I'm so
Yeah,
sorry I
it's
took
been
all the
good. It's
time.
been so
Um,
so
Sorry,
rich.
please, is Sister Busola, is she in the
Out of this,
community?
Busola. She's in the
Yes, is
I
community.
am
No, she's not in the community yet. But she's
please,
now Farmers Rising community. But she's not in the Mom 360
I'm family that
community.
we need
rising
to
community. Yes.
we need to welcome her to Mom 360 community. You're welcome.
Yeah, of course she
You
will.
don't
She
worry. You
will.
don't worry
Of
about
Whose
course,
that.
voice
we're
is that
bringing her
Kumbi? That
in.
sounds like Kumbi. Whose voices was that?
No, it's not even Kubi. It's Favor.
Wow. Sounds very familiar.
Favor.
Yeah.
This has
Thank
been
you.
really good.
Favor, don't worry, I'll come.
All right.
Yeah, she's coming. Don't worry. You'll be able to be her friend. Okay, you'll be her friend.
All
She's
right.
so rich in she's rich in knowledge, rich in experience, And the reason why she was the best person for this role is because she's been a teacher in Nigeria. She trained in the UK. She lives in Canada. So she's seen all the different parts of diaspora living. Being a parent in Nigeria, being a parent in diaspora. So that's why I brought her as the person who can, help us marry all the different parts of this journey together. It's just been really good. Thank you so very much. Dami, I'm handing it back to you.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm sure I cannot thank you enough. But, we're about to bring this to a little close. What happened? What happened? What
You're
happened?
sharing screen, but the sharing screen is not what you wanted to share, I'm guessing.
Let's see. It's supposed to share itself. All right. So that was such an amazing session. I particularly loved it. I've learned a lot. My notes are probably copious. I'll just go in pa 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 pa. And so we are super excited for the other learnings that are going to come out of this. I'm sure that parents, once they watch the replay, they will have more questions. So be on the lookout for what the other things that we're going to be doing with Mrs. Busola. Okay. So a quick housekeeping.
Sorry, I have one thing to say before we go. I know that in every session that we have, there's always a lot of information, right? We need time to process that. Please, one thing I always advocate for is parents to wear that lens. Because anything you would remember that you should wear that lens. When I say wear that lens, that blank lens, to remember that children just understand what you have told them. They need to be taken. They need to process. So when we work from that place, we're more mindful of the steps, right? School is starting. Yes, they know. If you leave children, they'll just wake up on Monday and say, okay, let's go to school. But that's not it. If you want your child to thrive, you take them through what they would encounter, who they would encounter, and prepare them. So wear that lens. They don't know. And always wear that lens when it comes to different things, how they react when they're angry. Wear that lens. Know that when you ask them to go and do something and they don't move, sometimes they need that 1 minute, 2 minutes to calibrate, to understand what you have said first. And because we're impatient, I told you to calm down. They are still processing. They need that extra few seconds to get what you said. We need to always calm down. Wear that lens of calming down. Let them process. Get to help them to break down the steps in every situation. Always ask, do you understand what I mean by this? How do you let them explain? What do you think I'm asking of you? And let them be able to, when they tell it back to you, then you know they've understood. And then please always wear that lens. It will help you be patient. It will help you regulate your emotions, and that's all. Wear that lens, mommy. You'll be fine.
Thank you. How do you know a teacher if they don't give you extra tips? Like, how are you sure? This was just a confirmation that you're a bona fide educator. Educators always go the extra mile to ensure that they've passed their message and you are equipped to start taking action, because learning doesn't stop at information gathering. Learning actually starts when you start to implement what you've learned.
Exactly.
And you start to see the behavioral changes in your life. That's where your learning starts. All these things that we've learned, you hear that she said it now. It's a lot. So take your time, go and look for the replay when we post it, sit with it, take your notes, and start to ask questions and engage. Until then, but don't forget, there's still more to come. We have other masterclasses happening because, again, remember, it's still the 31-day bold prayers, back to school prayer series. And we're not just praying, we're also having classes that are augmenting the prayer, because I said earlier, prayer plus planning is what actually pushes our kids into their divine destiny. We're not just going to pray alone. We're going to pray, we're going to plan, we're going to push, and we're going to ensure that it happens as God has desired. So we have preventing burnout as a mom, which is, I can't even say overemphasized. That burnout is real. So we have preventing burnout by Dr. Macy, happening on the 22nd of August, the same time, 7 p.m. Watt and 12 noon Mountain. And on the 28th of August, helping kids and parents cope with fear and anxiety. We already started to touch on that today. So prepare and put it on your calendars. We'll be having Fumi Ayowale, Soul Health Coach, coming to discuss with us. So show up daily. The prayers are still ongoing. Guess what? Today was day 15. So we are halfway. We are halfway. Join on our website. familiesarising.org/live. Join on Facebook, Families Arising Global. Join on YouTube, Families Arising with Olushaya. Join on the community, Mighty Network Mom 360 Cafe. Join us there. Engage on the platform. Invite other moms to join. How can you be praying like this and you're not inviting other moms? What are you talking about? Come on. Invite other moms to join. I join on Facebook most of the time. So you have no excuse. Whichever platform you have on your phone, just click join. The replays are actually there. Just click join. So this is the QR code. You can join. The link has already been posted. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And Aove, that wants to friend zone some of us, come into the community. I have a big there's space in my room in the community. I have a room and parlor. I have duplex. I have mansion. In my mom 360 mansion, there are many rooms. I go to prepare a place. Your place has been prepared from time immemorial. I've been waiting for you since for such a time as this. So if you don't come now, I'm not even going to give it to somebody else. It will just be there. Like, am I not saying the same thing? We've been preparing rooms for over 200K people. We still have 200K more rooms. So please use the QR code, send us an email. We also want to hear from you. We want to read your testimonies of the prayers, of all the good things that are happening. Check out our website for all the other events happening. We have back to school programs for kids, for teens. It's enormous, and we cannot wait to see you again tomorrow by 6:30 a.m. Mountain and 1:30 p.m. Watt. All right, thank you so much, and I wish you a fantastic day and good night from my end. Bye bye, ladies. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.